Hi, hey, hello. Welcome to a Market Down production. My name is the Baltimore Orioles. I am joined by the Los Angeles Angels, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Texas Rangers, aka the only teams I'm marginally invested in now that my team is out of the race. And we're here to predict SummerSlam 2023, a pay-per-view that I kind of no longer give a fuck about. And real quick, do you guys want to pick what teams you are before I randomly assign them to you?
Dibs on Baltimore.
Oh, I already said on Baltimore. That was the only one that wasn't up for dibs. I picked
dibs
Baltimore.
on Texas Rangers.
I'll take Arizona.
All right, Chad, that gives you the Angels. But hey, you get the Shohei Ohtani team. That's why they're in there, because you have the best baseball player of this generation, and I'm going to say better than Babe Ruth. You might as well try to fucking win a World Series with them. But we're here to predict SummerSlam, or what's left of SummerSlam, I should say. And now, real quick, everyone, how are you? James, you got 5 seconds. How are you?
My arm hurts, but I'm good.
Glad to hear it somewhat, not the arm part, but all the good part. Rev, how are you? 5 seconds.
Football season.
There we go. That's all we needed to hear. August football season. Chad, you were just here. You're here all the time. We see you all the time. But how are you?
Yeah.
Could not have said it better myself. I agree. SummerSlam. Who gives a fuck? Now I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to anyone that might care in that case. But I will preface this. I am somewhat biased in this regard. I might happen to be a mark for one of the people that is bumped off of the SummerSlam card. So I'm a smidge biased. I'll dip in and out of that bias throughout this. But any comparisons I make are not to disparage the other matches or say these people don't deserve to be on SummerSlam for the most part. And I might jump back and forth a bit, but tell me when I'm selling fries, okay? Becky versus Trish is bumped from the SummerSlam card. It's happened in 2 weeks in Toronto or in Canada. I don't remember what exact part of Canada it's going to be in, which we'll get into this as a topic in a bit. That's really bad storytelling for the face heel dynamics of this story. But it's almost like a make good, like to one of the people in the match, like, oh, you could be we'll have the match in your home country. It'll feel like a bigger deal. Because you're not going to be on SummerSlam. And another thing, if it happens to be that Trish really needs that extra 2 weeks to fully heal for the match, fine, we accept that. I don't think that's the case. I think her wrestling in the mask is only going to make the match cooler. But, I'm willing to admit that's a possibility. I'm going to give you a shit ton of context right now because this match is being bumped, and there are a lot of matches on this card that have not been building as long as this match. None of the matches on this card have been building as long as this match, save for Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, technically. But I'll still say even if you don't count the first half of this, it still started at the Rumble, so it's still an all year thing. Once Jey had that bit of doubt about staying in the Bloodline, you can say that this part of the story started. So. This story started before Mania when Trish first came back and aligned with Becky Lynch. But in April, Trish turns on Becky, costs Becky the tag and Lita the tag titles, and reports came out then that the match for SummerSlam was going to be Becky versus Trish. We knew a lot of the SummerSlam card in April. We knew Cody versus Brock was going to culminate there. We knew Becky versus Trish was going to culminate there. We had a feeling that some version of a Bloodline match would culminate there, which sounds like an easy prediction to make, but we knew the dominoes were actually falling in April, or well, actually we didn't because Reigns wasn't there. We didn't know that till May really, but we'll say April for the sake of uniformity here. Cool. So the Brock and the Cody thing again. That match is a bigger match than the Becky Trish match. I have no problem admitting that. That's your biggest baby face and your biggest part-timer in a match, and it's a big deal, and I want to see it. I'm still into the story and I'm still into the match, but it's a good comparison to see how the two stories have played out over that time, because I'm going to say this right now, the Cody and Brock story has gotten a little stale and has been extremely repetitive. It's Brock beats the shit out of Cody. Cody's hurt. Cody cuts a promo on Brock. Cody cuts a promo on Brock. Brock comes back. They brawl. They have a match. Rinse, repeat. That's been the whole story. Also, Cody won the first match, which is a little bit backwards, but it's okay. Adversity and all that. Becky and Trish, they have their first match. Zoe Stark, not debuts, but, aligns with Trish, costs Becky the match. Becky loses, and again, I'm not trying to disparage the Cody Brock story too much, but I will say that in this feud, Becky has actually faced adversity, whereas Cody, not as much. She lost the first match. She lost her first match with Zoe. She lost the Money in the Bank. She lost everywhere along the way up until recently. That's when people say face adversity, it's kind of a good example of it. Just saying. But again, tell me when I'm smelling pies, okay? Because I don't think I have so far.
Easy, Dwayne. Easy.
Just saying. Like I said, Becky lost the first match due to Zoe interference, which sets up a rematch for Becky to get her revenge down the line. And as we knew because of reports, that would be at SummerSlam. But along the way, to get a rematch with Trish, she wanted to fight Zoe. She actually lost to Zoe, giving Zoe the biggest win of her career and probably the biggest win she'll get for a long time. Not that she won't get big wins down the line. I'm just saying, that's going to be the biggest for a while. So Becky hit a little bit of rock bottom, lost a little bit of confidence, got insecure. Becky hit a little bit of a manhandle slam, and, lost confidence, got insecure, and then had to, bring herself back up to it and goad the heels into giving her another opportunity. And I'm not saying the story has been blow away good, but it has been consistent and has progressed, and it's had a lot of good moments. The way Becky snapped at The Miz and then goaded Trish and Zoe into another match, that was good. Both matches with Zoe, especially the second one, were very good. And Becky got her win back on Zoe in a very good match that made both people look good and has earned her a rematch. And then this past week on Raw, they were like, we're going to have the rematch right now. And then Zoe immediately interfered, DQing. And then they had an awesome brawl that went on for way longer than I thought it would, honestly. And it was good. It made Becky look badass. And then the heels still sniveled away at the end. And they're like, oh, we gave her a rematch. That's that. Then Adam Pearce out of nowhere is like, we're going to have this match. You're going to have this match in 2 weeks in your hometown or home state or country. I don't remember again what exact part of Canada it is in. And that's where I literally, and again, this is where I sound like a little biased fanboy, but I literally was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to watch the rest of Raw. And this was like, I'm not going to review this because then only reason I wanted to view it was to complain. I'm like, that's not a good mindset to go into doing something. This shouldn't be the only reason you do something. But I am going to, so we're going to have this match 2 weeks in Canada. And, Becky took a little jab online. She shared pictures from the promo from SummerSlam. I was like, oh, I took this photo shoot for for SummerSlam. Ellipses like, this is awkward now. And I'm sure Trish has probably taken a jab or two online too, because the type of people that, yeah.
She reposted a picture that Becky had posted of the two of them. So
there we go. That's how much that's how I knew the Canada thing was supposed to be a make good to Trish, to be like, hey, I know you do this, but it's like, imagine doing that to another legend. Imagine doing that to another top star. I'm gonna, again, tell me when I'm getting high, and this might be the time. But Triple H wants to keep the, maybe I'm gonna go hang out with Riddle and Randy Orton and RVD, and but Triple H wants to keep the pay-per-view cards smaller, which I'm all for. I've said constantly on this show and on the AEW show. That's one of the main jabs I take at AEW besides the women's division, which is funny how both those things are tying in right now with the problem I'm having with WWE. But like I said, I'm all for that. But do we need to make time for a meaningless battle royal and a Kid Rock performance in the year 2023? Like, your opinions on Kid Rock aside, bro, like, again, the guy says some dumb things, or you might think the guy says some smart things. That's not what's important here. The point is, you don't actually think Kid Rock is cool. No one thinks Kid Rock is cool. You only like Kid Rock now because of the things he says. You don't actually think his music's that good. Like, that's just not a cool thing to have. If you're trying to pretend you're cool, you're not getting Kid Rock to perform. Like, and you've gotten cool people. What's Bad Bunny doing, bro? You couldn't get him back for this. But anyway, we'll get to that. Or I'm sure you guys will also have stuff to say about that. And again, I'm sorry. I told you I was going to go on a long tangent here, but I swear to God, once I toss it to you guys, I'll interrupt. But still, a Kid Rock performance and a battle royal, and you bump literally the second longest running story going into the show. It makes no sense. And now this is where, like I said, I might be starting to. The bias is going to come in a little more, and I'm going to make some speculative claims and say some stuff that may or may not be exactly true, but I'm going to theorize a little bit with the declarative statement. Triple H does not know how to book Becky Lynch. He's having some issues with the women's division as a whole, but I'm going to hone in on Becky very specifically. Last year at SummerSlam, Becky and Bianca had to fight to get their match on the card. That wasn't going to be on the card last year. And just look how big that match was on the card last year. Great match. Becky face turn, Damage Control debut. Was not going to be on the show. They literally had to fight for it. That came from both of them in interviews saying that. Both Becky and Bianca. And Bianca even said like Becky had to fight really, really hard to get it on there. Cool. We'll fast forward to this year. That's the only part from last year I want to throw in. 5 minutes in the Rumble. Not great. You can chalk it up to the feud with Damage Control. It wasn't about winning. It's about taking each other out. Fine. Still not a great look for the biggest female star in that particular match. No match in Elimination Chamber. Cage match gets bumped from Raw 30. And a terrible angle that kind of made Becky look like a chump. Whatever. They win the tag titles. She wins the tag titles with Lita. They have a filler, fun, but ultimately filler match at Mania. Arguably the least important match on the Mania card. And then loses the tag titles. First defense. No defenses. You could have had a couple weeks of just open challenges or whatever. But no, loses first thing. So it begins the Trish feud. Cool. Loses the first match on pay-per-view. Loses Money in the Bank, despite a decent argument, especially in hindsight, that she should have probably just won the match. We'll get to the Money in the Bank and whether it's going to come up on the show or not, but I think both Money in the Bank holders have looked silly when trying to use the briefcase. But we'll get into that later. If we have time, we might just end the show after this. But lose that. Then she loses to Zoe. First match. Again, looking a little bit like a chump, but it's good for Zoe. Finally wins, gets a win over Zoe in a great match that made both people look good. And then the match gets bumped from SummerSlam. So you have this months-long feud where, she does what Cody's supposed to be doing, faces adversity after adversity, and then her comeuppance she's going to give Trish doesn't get to be on pay-per-view. Oof. And the Battle Royal, I'm going to skip to. So yeah, Triple H does not know how to handle Becky Lynch, arguably the biggest female star in the company. And the only argument is Ronda Rousey because she was a star outside. Charlotte's not an argument. I'm not going to talk about Charlotte during this, besides the fact that match is on the pay-per-view and there's like no story in that match. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be off the pay-per-view because this could have been a pay-per-view with 4 women's matches and you could really just, not about all taking jabs all the time. You could have easily shoved that in AEW's face, but it's not about that. But that match has little to no build and little to no story and pretty stale characters. aside from Asuka, who was the third wheel in her own title match, because of course she is.
Naturally.
You got the Ronda Shayna match, which had a really great go home video package on Raw that makes this match feel like a bigger deal, but it's going to be an MMA rules match. That's actually probably not going to be very good. And also, it's a feud that makes no sense. That started in a dumb way, but is luckily made Shayna awesome. So there's positives. Again, there's still positives with the stuff that I'm using as comparisons here. So that didn't really need to be on here. But to get to another match that was bumped, because I said women's matches earlier, but Raquel versus Rhea had seemed to also been on the cards for this. And again, out of all the matches on the card, I would argue that that would have been the least important one because Raquel is just not credible on the main roster. She's very one-dimensional. If you can be less than one-dimensional, she might be that.
She's got a back.
She's 0.5 dimensional. She has a back, and that's about it. But that match is also not happening. They had a cool brawl on Monday, but you know, Rhea kicked, chop blocked the injured knee, and Raquel isn't cleared in kayfabe, and that match is going to happen when she's cleared. So probably next week or the week after again, in a weird like, this is just as good as being on SummerSlam. You know how like before Money in the Bank we had Asuka and Charlotte have a title match, and then they weren't on Money in the Bank, and that was fine. It's like, yeah, because I was in London on the go-home show, and it wasn't a feud. That wasn't a feud, you know? That wasn't a blood feud going on for months, culminating at one of your big shows, you know? So Raquel and Rhea's off the cards, which is dumb because Rhea and Becky are bigger stars than the entire SmackDown women's division. Now you can make that as an argument as to why maybe they need to be on the card more, but you should just have all your biggest stars on the card, and you shouldn't be bumping them for, hey, Logan Paul deserves to be on this card. Does Ricochet necessarily? No, not really. But Logan Paul needs a win. So
it should have been Logan Paul versus Rhea. That's the match that it should have been.
I would be way more into that, even if it was Logan Paul versus Dom. You know, that suffices. That's funny. That's hilarious. You know, we could get into that kind of thing. But this is all bullshit. There's no reason that you could have had these matches because Rhea Raquel could have been a perfect 6-minute slugfest. It could have been Goldberg Lesnar style.
Absolutely.
Just big move, crazy. She kicks out the injured leg, wins. They could have another match 4 weeks from now on Raw. Becky and Trish doesn't need to be fucking 17, 20 minutes. That could be 12 minutes and be fine. Becky beats her up for 9 minutes. Trish gets a little bit of offense in because there's no Zoe Stark at ringside. And then Becky wins. And then that's that. The Battle Royal does not need to be here. But we're going to talk about that first. I'm gonna spoil it for all you guys right now. LA Knight's going to win. And this is a fuck you, make good to the crowd. It's literally, and that's my problem. One of my problems with it is that, one, it's pointless. 2, it's meaningless. I know those are the same thing, but
do we know who's in the match?
Just the Alpha Academy, Ciampa, Nakamura, and the Viking Experience. So, but like he'll be in it and he'll win it. Otherwise, there's no point for this to be on here. And that's how they trapped us. They're like, oh, here's your favorite guy right now, and we're gonna give him a win on the show. But now we don't need these meaningless. Let's get everyone on the card matches, especially when they're even more. At least the Andre people got a trophy. As meaningless as that became, there was fucking something. This is literally just a.
That's also not even on the WrestleMania card anymore. It's on the SmackDown the day before, which is something you very easily could have done with this Battle Royal, and you know, completely ditched this fucking stupid Kid Rock concert. And I just say that because I think he's a terrible musician. But you cut those 2 things, you put in these 2 women's matches, and this is a very, very good fucking card.
Yeah, and again, it could have 2 extra matches than the B pay-per-views because it is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. So or third biggest, depending on how you view the run.
And that SmackDown the day before, I assume, is going to be at Ford Field where they're having SummerSlam. So, you know, much like at the last pay-per-view, they had SmackDown in the O2. So you still get, you know, that huge place probably mostly filled up for SmackDown. LA Knight's going to get his big win in front of everybody. Like, I don't understand. Look, I'm hyped for LA Knight to probably get a win on pay-per-view, but like not at the expense of these 2 matches. It's fucking ridiculous.
It is so fucking ridiculous and well put, and because that's what they're doing with the U.S. title match. That's on the SmackDown before. There's no reason you can't do this
I
with
don't even know who's the champ.
Battle Royal.
Theory.
Yeah,
Is
but
it still
that's
Theory?
perfect indictment somehow. And again, people are gonna pop because it's LA Knight, but wouldn't it have been better for him to just win the U.S. title than a pointless Battle Royal? Why are we having this?
I actually don't think he's going to be in the Battle Royal.
Who, Knight?
Yeah.
And he's currently listed.
All right, well
as
then who do you
being-
think's gonna win then? Because then it's even more.
I could see it being Gable to set him up for Gunther afterwards, not in the same night, but afterwards. I think Knight is going to have a segment with Grayson Waller.
That's fine too, but then this Battle Royal really should be on there. As much as I'm on board, I have said it and I will say it. Gable should dethrone Gunther, and it should not be anyone else. If you say Sheamus, fine, but no. If you say Ilya Dragunov, no, grow up, get you fucking mark. And if you say
Nick Maniotis,
you know, if you say anyone else, like, come on, like, really.
Also,
but
James, LA Knight was like one of the first two people announced for this battle.
I asked who's in it, and Danny didn't say his name.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't know for sure.
According to Wikipedia, confirmed participants as of August 3rd are LA Knight, Sheamus, who were the first two people announced by Adam Pearce, Tommaso Ciampa, Shinsuke Nakamura, Otis, and Chad Gable. Excuse me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait. Sorry. Who did you say? Who did you say? Los Angeles Angels. Chad.
I said yeah. So LA Knight is winning for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You say that.
What about
who else wins this, James?
Triple H by having LA Knight not win.
That's true. Look, that's the other thing, and you know that's a conversation for our SmackDown podcast, which is debuting. Whenever, but LA Knight, look, guys, he's probably gonna get Ryder Rusev and not Brian Becky. Okay, just prepare. If I'm wrong, cool. Like if I'm wrong, great. But if I'm right, just be prepared. But you know, this doesn't make it okay. But Diamondbacks, who do you have in this?
Oh, for the Battle Royal?
For the pointless Battle Royal, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll take LA Knight. I mean, I think he needs a, like you said, he's gonna get the win for, to make up for the fact that he didn't win Money in the Bank, or he's not going for the U.S. title at the moment. And this could propel him to the U.S. title. So give me LA Knight. And I think my second choice would probably be Gable, because that could propel him to the IC title. So it's probably going to be one of those two guys. I think those are your best bets. And if I was a betting man, that's where I put my money.
That's fair.
You are a betting man.
Yeah, you are a betting man.
No,
so.
I used to be a betting man. I keep track of everything, but I don't gamble anymore. Not officially.
Do you want to bet on this show? No. Okay. Cool. So most of us think LA Knight. One of us thinks Gable. Or 1.5 of us think Gable. 2.5 of us think LA Knight. Real quick, I'm sorry I didn't. Do you guys want to talk about besides the Diamondbacks at least put some input in? Do either of you two jabronis want to talk about the matches being cut?
I mean, the only way I accept Becky versus Trish for this is if it's Trish's last match and they want to retire her in Canada.
But,
only explanation.
But didn't you retire her on a Raw?
I mean, if retiring in my hometown, I'll take that over a pay-per-view.
No, you just lose the pay-per-view match is your last match, and then you retire, like give a speech in front of your hometown crowd, so that way you can have the match in character.
She's already a Hall of Famer. Like, what speech is there to give? She already thanked everybody for her career.
That's okay. So when Edge is fucking done, you're like, fuck off, bro. You don't get to say goodbye. Like, yeah, you're right. There's fuck these old people trying to have one last run.
I'm not saying she shouldn't have a speech, but like it's not as important anymore. Like as the last match, I think.
Yeah, but it's still a nice segment. Like the last match for Ric Flair, the last match for Ric Flair, was phenomenal, and then the Raw after was also phenomenal, despite his career being over the night before. And I'm not saying it's going to be that levels, but it's like, yeah, you just give her the nice hometown moment to say the last match happens at SummerSlam, the goodbye happens in Canada. Like that's all it is.
We don't know if this is her last match. He hasn't said.
Yeah, but James is just saying he's giving her that qualifications, and even then, it's a 4-month feud that you're gonna blow off on a random Raw. That's not how things work. Like that's just not. Like that's stupid. And only under that context you provided, sure, it's still. It seems, I don't know. It seems unfair to the feud.
I think generally, like this feud, any feud of this magnitude in general, it's a bad move to bump it off the SummerSlam card and move it to a random Raw, even if it is in the Hall of Famers home country. But I think the fact that both of these matches, but especially this one, are women's matches, it is also just a bad look for WWE. So
and I agree on that.
I'm surprised they did it. Especially for a fucking Kid Rock concert.
And Rhea is so over.
That's the worst part.
Rhea is like the most over thing outside of the WWE bubble they have right now. I know people who are like, you're a wrestling fan, right? Like, do you know Rhea Ripley? Like, do you know who she is? Is she big? And it's like, yeah, she's mommy. Everybody knows her. So, like, it just feels like a weird, even if it is, like you said, a 6-minute slugfest. Why would you not put that on there? It feels really weird.
Goldberg, Brock, amazing. Goldberg, Dolph Ziggler on SummerSlam like 4 years ago, amazing. Like it's very doable. It's easy, doable stuff. But
Hagler Hayes, man, just have it be over in 6 minutes.
and then our
full blown
Angels, LA Angels. What about you? How do you feel about these matches being bumped?
No, I concur with everything you guys said. I mean, I think it's incredibly stupid not to have. I mean, Becky and Trish are the best thing going on Raw. Well, one of the best things going on Raw.
Yeah, Alpha Academy is like amazing right now.
They're doing really well. Judgment Day is still doing pretty well.
But they're just big. They're not like, it's not blow away. It's just their big deal, which is amazing. Yeah, so it's like cool. Raw is really good right now, honestly.
Raw is really is really taking the cake. SmackDown hasn't been terrible either, by the way.
SmackDown's been good too. It's just nobody's watching wrestling on a Friday night.
And it's also just
it's not Raw.
SmackDown's never great because it's really just one thing is really good, and that thing usually takes up most of the show, which kind of curves the grade. But the other thing I wanted to bring up about this is that having it in Canada just really fucks with the face-heel dynamics. And, like, that happens in wrestling. That's, like, a part of it. And how Becky fought Natalya in Canada, and they cheered for Becky because Natalya's a fucking joke. The only time they booed her was when she put a sharpshooter on, because you're not Canadian, you can't do it. Like, those are the rules. But, it's been a feud that one of the things I didn't mention about how good it's been is that Trish is a legend, and it's one of those things you got to think about going into it where it's like, yes, Becky is a beloved star. She's a big baby face, but this is a legend. And sometimes the fans just have a tendency to cheer the legend despite them being the one to turn heel. And that was something I was worried about in the beginning. I was like, how are they going to do that? Like, Trish hasn't been a heel in like 2 decades. Like, that's a tough line. And they've done a good job. She gets booed. It's not really split crowds like that. She gets the heat. She brought up how the Astros were cheaters, this past Raw on Monday, which, they are, and they kind of just got away with it, like heels do in wrestling. But she's done a good job. But now you're doing it in Canada. It's like, bro, you don't want the crowd cheering her, especially when it's like a fuck you. Like, and I don't think Trish is the type of person to be a heel and want to be like the cool heel and get cheered and feel like that vindication. Like, I think she's taking pride in getting heat right now. And it's like, and for Becky, it's like, if you're being bumped off of the pay-per-view to go into a crowd where you have a decent chance of just getting booed for being the babyface, finally winning months into the story, like that's a shitty consolation prize. Like, almost any way you slice it, besides the one way James brought up. So like I don't know. I think that's gonna fuck with the face heel dynamics of the match. Am I crazy here? Or like
No, I completely agree.
No, I agree.
The only again, I know I gave a very specific like acceptance possibility, and maybe they do if Trish is retiring, if they're gonna have like Zoe like attack her afterwards to really get the babyface stuff going. But again, I'm listing a very specific scenario that may or may not happen. So I would have kept it on SummerSlam. I'm again personally, I'm more offended about the Rhea stuff, but I am
the only reason that I'm not more offended, I'm not talking about it as much, is that the Rhea Raquel stuff was never confirmed. It wasn't like it's been a very short feud that has barely had any interaction. Like it's been, for lack of a better term, just a nothing feud. The thing is, Rhea should be on the card, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Asuka wasn't on Money in the Bank. Like it is okay in theory, especially because she'll be on the show, because Judgment Day will be all over the show, because all over every show. So like that's where I'm like, it's not okay. It should still be on the card, but I'm not going to be as outraged about that because it's not like this big feud, this big match. It is a feud that actually needs some more time to cook because it's been nothing. But like there's again the scenario I laid out, it would have been the perfect way to do it, to have it and to still keep it going, and to have it not overstay its welcome.
I read a statistic that was basically, this is the first time since 2012 that if there were however many women's titles there were, singles titles, that they both weren't defended. So like excluding instances that there was one women's title. So since 2012, and the last champion was Layla, to have been a women's champion and not defend at SummerSlam.
Oh wow!
So it's rough when you have someone as hot as Rhea is with the crowd right now.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make sense. And see, here's the thing too, because I gave Triple H that bit about not knowing how to book Becky, and to another degree not handling the women's division great. It's every time they tease Rhea and Becky, it's fucking electric, and there's something there. So why are you not pushing these people like crazy? Why isn't Becky getting all these wins? Why isn't Rhea on these shows? Why is she? Look, I'll defend the Selena Vega feud. It was great. That match was amazing. I will not say that was filler, because it should have been filler. It turned out to not be filler. But she's done nothing since then. You feud with Taya, again, that's a joke. But like, at least they got like one good match out of it, I guess. But I guess two good matches, because the squash match was perfect. But why are you not like doing them in between? Because every time they interact, they've crossed paths like 3 times since Becky returned War Games, and every time it's been treated like a huge deal. Like you're having so much patience with that, because you know it's going to be a big deal. And at this point, I guess that's going to be the Mania match at this point, because you're going to do that, or knowing the way he's been treating Becky and to an extent Rhea, that'll probably be on a random Raw as well. So it's like, it's there, it's a big deal. So treat these people like big deals in the interim. Like, what are you fucking doing? But I think we've exhausted that enough. Unless you guys want to like cry about it more, and if you want to just call us little like babies and shit, like that's fine. You're entitled to a shitty opinion. Like it's okay.
I think 34 minutes of this is enough.
That's fine. All right. So thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll go down the rest of the card. Doesn't matter. Kid Rock's going to perform. Who do you think is going to win there?
I can tell you the audience is going to lose.
No one.
I've seen him live, because I've been to WrestleManias where he's performed.
Oh, you didn't go to the bathroom or get a beer during that?
Oh God. Not. Yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna.
It wasn't by choice.
Let's start with a match that didn't need to be on the card over Becky and Trish, but should still be on the card. Ronda versus Shayna Baszler, and a blood feud that's made no sense at the start, but again has made Shayna Baszler look badass. So I guess we'll take it. All right, guys, I'm gonna do some save for time stuff here. We're all going Shayna here. Is anyone picking Ronda? Right? No one. We're all going Shayna.
The only way Ronda wins is if she's not leaving. But word is she might be leaving for a little while, maybe to go back to UFC or otherwise. So I will take Ronda. But if Ronda is staying, then I think she actually might pull this out. Either way,
I mean,
I'm very curious to see how this
leaving-
match goes because MMA rules is just weird.
Yeah, by weird you mean always bad. But she's definitely got to be leaving because otherwise this wouldn't have been so rushed and stupid the way it started.
Yep.
You know, it would have started at a more logical point in time, not during a tag title match where they were the champs. You know,
Well,
but
I'll keep an eye out on Ariel Hawani's Twitter.
fun fact: no one has pinned Ronda Rousey more than Liv Morgan.
Go Liv.
I guess. Yeah, good for Liv.
What is it? 2 times?
Three
Three
times.
times. 3 times. The tag match, the cash in,
and the bad
the
rematch where she tapped what she was pinning Ronda. So yeah, we're all off Shayna, right? Cool.
Yeah.
We're moving on. Good video packages. The match is probably gonna suck because they don't do MMA matches. Cain Velasquez had one match in WWE, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. The Hager Wardlow match, fucking garbage. So regular MMA, fucking garbage. So this is probably going to be garbage.
These are two like MMA trained fighters too, and I'm still not entirely sure how they're going to do because working a fight is very difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
1980s Japan.
I've only seen it work once, and it was Joe versus Angle in TNA when Joe won the title. And
I'm going to compliment TNA real quick. Put this in your pocket and keep it forever. So keep you warm in cold winter nights. Only TNA would be able to pull that kind of thing off. That's something that only TNA has the balls to the walls mentality to pull something like that off. You know, I meant to phrase that more eloquently, but
I get it. I get it. They've got the gumption to do it.
Yeah, they just threw shit against the wall, and sometimes it stuck, and it was great, and a lot of times it was terrible.
First 8 years, TNA are the only people that can do that sort of thing and get away with it. But cool, we're all got Shayna. Fine. Battle Royale, we already talked about. Kid Rock performance, we already talked about. Let's go. Again, not saying these matches don't deserve to be on a card, but this was a nothing feud, and it's just a fun match that's going to be the match of the night. But, you know, in terms of priority, this match wasn't even a possibility like 4 weeks ago and is now on the card. Drew McIntyre versus Gunther, it's an Intercontinental title. Again, not sparing this match. It's going to be the match of the night. I'm just saying this isn't a blood feud that's been going on for 4 months. You know, Drew McIntyre's involvement in Mania was more of a feud with Sheamus. But again, this is going to be match of the night. Guaranteed. Like, if we were betting, that's a bet I would make, which you can't really quantify that because it's subjective, but I would end up being the winner regardless. But Gunther is going to win. He's going to beat Drew McIntyre. McIntyre's going to go for a Claymore. Gunther's going to chop him out of the fucking air, and then he's going to powerbomb him. And then Drew McIntyre is going to kick out, and he's going to powerbomb him again, and that's going to be it. And the match going to be amazing. Imperium, another one of the best things on Raw. Raw is so good right now. I hate that I'm so mad because Raw has been so good lately. And by so good, I mean like 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5 shows, but those are fucking great for Raw. Who do you guys have? Angels, Los Angeles Angels, Chad, regular size, bad, Johnson. Who do you have in this match?
I also have Gunther, and I don't think this is going to be the best match of the night.
That's impossible. It's literally impossible. But I'm interested to see who you think will be best match of the night. But
it's actually the least interesting match of the night.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
what this is
no,
the least
no.
interesting?
The match that I think is going to be
the
best match of the night is the one we don't need the most.
Okay.
The one we just talked about?
No.
All right, but
okay, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But yeah, no, we'll wait and see. That I want to be a surprise more in the future. I want to bring this thread back when it comes up. But Who do you? Okay, how many chops do you think we see, Chad?
This is Drew. I say 30.
Okay, good number. Good number. D-backs 2001 greatest World Series of my lifetime. Who do you have in this match, and how many chops?
It is so sad that our favorite World Series is just one where the Yankees lost.
But it was the best one.
Yeah. I will also take Gunther. I will put the over-under of chops at... Chad went so high, I kind of just threw my thing off. I'll put it at 28.5. I guess that's where I'm going to put the over-under. Because I was going to put it at 25.5, and then Chad, bet 30, and then it threw off the line there, so we had to raise it.
Look at the gambler.
I think this has a good chance to be match of the night. I think there is another contender, which I will also talk about later. But I'm really excited to see this. It should be an absolute slobber knocker, as it usually is. And also, I refuse to acknowledge Chad as Los Angeles Angels. He is the Anaheim Angels. And
yeah, that's fine. That's easier to say. Yeah, it's the Anaheim Angels. Let's be real
you,
here.
Artie Moreno.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Yeah, he does. But fair enough. Texas Rangers. I've been to your stadium, or what was your stadium? I don't know if Arlington Field is still your stadium, but
ballpark Arlington's gone. R.I.P.
Yeah, Arlington was the best stadium I've ever been to. Granted, that was only like 4, but 4 stadiums. I was older than 4 when I went there. But I saw a bunch of Braves at home runs, but the Rangers still won. A-Rod was a Ranger when I saw the Rangers in Arlington Field.
It was a long time ago.
It was 2002 when I saw. It was 2002. But yeah, who do you have in this match, and how many chops?
I have Gunther winning. I have combined chops, like between both men.
Yeah, between both of them.
I'm gonna say 25.
All right. Going with the under. Interesting. I like it. All right. Fun. I think this match is going to be just
can I also say
fantastic. Sure.
One last prediction. I think Drew is going to out-chop Gunther. I think that's going to be his win of the night, because going back to the first time I remember seeing them cross paths, their Survivor Series match with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
Don't bring that up. But we're trying to forget that.
No, it's not anything about the match itself, but their interaction. Gunther was back when he was Walter, was the hot thing. Everyone was excited to see him interacting with people. It was him and Keith Lee. But then he got in the ring, and Drew, his chops sounded so much harsher than Gunther's did. And it made Gunther look bad back then. And now Gunther's on
that whole match made him look bad back then.
Yeah, but
he was in that match for 2 minutes.
But when you're known for one thing and you do that thing, and then the guy next to you does it better than you, that's rough. So yeah. I think Drew is going to out-chop Gunther, and that's going to be the win for him for the night. He's going to look incredibly tough out-chopping Gunther, even though Gunther's going to win.
Yeah, and then Chad Gable will beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title, and it'll be amazing.
After Gunther breaks Honky Tonk's record.
Of course. Absolutely. You got to break the record. That's not the record you got to keep. There's so many. You should have kept Kane's Royal Rumble elimination record. I'm still salty about that one. But yeah, we're on the same page, and I'll say I'll take the over on the chops as well. I guess I'm gonna go specific. I'll say 28 chops. But did someone else say 28? I don't know. But yeah, so that'll be fun. Again, not much of a feud, but it doesn't matter because the match is going to be amazing. So let's move on. SmackDown Women's Title match, triple threat between Stale Character 1, Stale Character 2, and constantly beaten Character 1 for the SmackDown Women's Title. And if you need me to repeat that because you couldn't hear me, I said a triple threat match between Charlotte, Bianca, and Asuka. Not a terrible feud by SmackDown Women's Division standards and by, I guess, Charlotte standards, because she hadn't won the title immediately yet. This is uncharted territories for WWE and Charlotte, for her to not have won the title first try and for the feud to still be going. But I'm not a fan of this. I didn't like that Bianca and Charlotte beat the women's tag champs in a match. That's bad. That doesn't make any sense. That should be why they lose, is because they were trying to one-up each other, and they squabble and argue, and then the champs win because they're a tag team, you know? But what do I know? Triple H knows how to book the women's division. He's no Tony Khan in that regard, and which he's not. You know, that's hyperbolic. But I don't care about this feud. The match should be pretty good because all three of them are good wrestlers. Even if one of them's a bad character, one of them's a character that looks like they're on the verge of being refreshed, which is exciting. And Asuka, who we all will always love, no matter how mistreated she is. And who I think is a heel, but it also doesn't matter because I think everyone's kind of heelish in this feud. But I'll go first. I'm going to just say that Asuka retains. I don't know. I hope so. I want so. Bianca can't win it back yet. And for some reason, even though they always do it, I have faith this time about them not just putting the title right back on Charlotte. I don't know why. I'm optimistic about something that they've proven to do the opposite every single time. But I think somehow this time will be different. Rangers, DeGrom over there. Who do you got in this match?
I too have Asuka. I think she's going to sneak a win as Charlotte and Bianca beat the crap out of each other. And I would not be shocked if they form a tag team and go for the tag team titles.
That would be interesting. I would be somewhat invested in that. I would give that a chance. That's the nicest thing I could say about that. I'd give that a chance. They have to be heels though. If they're baby faces, it's automatically terrible.
Bianca's great as a babyface. Like, I think she's a legitimately good babyface.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think she is just as good, if not better, as a heel.
She's better as a heel.
Yeah.
She hasn't been one in a minute.
She is better as a heel, but it's more important. She's more important as a face.
Yes.
Because she is a John Cena. She is a Bailey. Like, kids fucking love her, and like, she has an argument to be a career babyface on the main roster, and I get that. But she needs a change. She needs to freshen up. And if her and Charlotte, I'm just saying, if they were a tag team, like James said, which is an interesting idea, they cannot be faces. That would not work. Because one, Charlotte's a bad face. And two, we already saw that when Charlotte won the tag titles with Asuka randomly, and it made no sense, and it was bad then, and that's why I think it'll drag it down. But that's an interesting theory. Diamondbacks? No, Angels. Who do you have in this match?
I am also going Asuka. You just don't take the belt off Asuka right now. It's way too soon.
Yeah.
Let her flourish for once in her fucking career, man. I hate that she has the accolades but no history behind any of them. Like, she just has random title wins. So let this be her story. Let her finish her story. Asuka.
Yeah, well, I agree, except the story is not about her. So let's have her start a story actually, and then finish it. But
that.
Yeah, we're on the same page about that. Okay, all right, Chad. I'm gonna ask you the random bonus question for this. Who gets misted in this match?
Bianca.
Interesting. I like that pick. All right, Diamondbacks. Who do you have in this match?
I've been distracted for the last 2 minutes trying to remember when Asuka and Charlotte had the tag titles together.
It was a very brief moment where
it was
Charlotte
right before
was
Lacey got pregnant.
It was bad.
Okay. Who cares? I'm taking Asuka here, similar to what the Rangers said over there, Rafael Palmeiro. I think that Charlotte and about Danny with that. I think Charlotte and Bianca are going to end up taking each other out, and Asuka ends up pinning one of them to retain her title. Different from Pudge Rodriguez, though, is that I think that they're going to end up feuding for a while instead of tagging. They could end up tagging after the feud, depending on how.
Or they could tag to start the feud.
Oh, that's also true, but we'll see what happens. But I think Charlotte and Bianca are going to end up involved with each other in one way, shape, or form on the show after Asuka ends up retaining her title over the weekend.
Yeah, I do. I kind of think that too. It's just what James said didn't even cross my mind, so I was intrigued by it. But I do think this leads to a singles feud between them, and then Asuka to be secondary on SmackDown behind this feud, even though she's the champ. So that'll be fun. I don't know why I'm talking when I was about to take a sip of water, but fill for 5 seconds, one of you guys.
I'm just trying to think of like random players for these teams I can call all of you guys because I got some good ones. I've been playing far too much Immaculate Grid to not pull all of these people out of my ass.
I've been watching the fucking like John Boy crew like do that. It looks fun, but I mean I want to call Chad fucking Squid just because I know that kid's brother, but like Andrew Velasquez. The Pride of Mars Park over here, out here playing shortstop for the Angels, a real organization, unlike the team he used to play for. But
pot shot for no reason.
What do you?
At least they did something at the deadline,
bro. What the fuck did I say about who did
Anaheim.
something at the deadline?
Anaheim, they made a couple trades.
Yeah, they did. They
did nothing.
Did. Yeah, it's weird. Just give up, bro. Why you made one trade? Like, give up, bro. Like, at least we're like, okay, we lost this year. We gave up.
They sent the guy down that they
traded. Did they really?
For.
That's wild. That's so crazy. Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Does anyone have Ricochet or like? Because I think Logan Paul's winning this match.
I think Logan Paul's winning too, but he shouldn't after that line he hit on Ricochet about.
That's the only hang up. Is that line was so killer that I'm like, oh fuck, Ricochet has to win now. But like. Logan can't lose every match, and Ricochet is such a mid-carder.
Yeah.
Like, Logan's got to win.
The only reason I could see Ricochet winning, and I don't think he's going to, I think it's going to be Logan Paul, is it's a good way to elevate Ricochet. Like, a win over a name like Logan Paul will help make his name more householdy to certain people. But I don't care.
Everyone has beaten Logan Paul.
But it's already been top stars who have beaten Logan Paul.
And that's why putting him on that same level would be good for him. But I still don't think he's going to. I think he's
then Ricochet could get the win, and then they could bump other women's matches off of cards for Ricochet matches. It'll be.
I mean, we say that like Ricochet isn't one of the best talents in the company, but I don't care. I don't care. You could be so good, but when Drew McIntyre tells you to shut up, you do.
We're spoiled in the modern times where we have so many of the best wrestlers ever, and we're just like, oh, I don't give a fuck, man. Everyone's this good. Like, that's how we're rich with fucking good wrestlers. So it almost is like we're like the kids in Jurassic World who are like unimpressed by fucking dinosaurs in a theme park. And, you know, we were all unimpressed by that movie. Let me say, I'm not trying to use that as an example of a good movie or anything, but yeah, Angels. Who do you have in this match?
It would make sense for Ricochet to win. However, Logan cannot lose. I don't see him losing anyway. Oh yeah, by the way, this is going to be the match of the night.
Yes, I knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
No one fucking needs it. No one wants to really see it, but it's going to be the match of the night.
And it very well could be because it's Logan Paul, and he is the best wrestler of a generation. You know, I don't like that generation per se, but you know, I don't even know what that generation is. But I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna get. This is why I don't think so, because they're trying way too hard to make this a viral thing.
They are.
I think it's gonna backfire the same way it backfired at Money in the Bank, where the spot went wrong, so the clip never caught fire like the Rumble one did. And Ricochet's flip to the outside wasn't as badass as the one in NXT. It wasn't as smooth.
But I do think we get some of that Royal Rumble magic. And that alone is going to amplify this match.
Yeah, but, you know, Seth and Logan should have been match of the night at Mania or weekend. But Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew was. So either way, I think those are reasonable bets. But you were right that it is far less exciting, and it's like, who cares, sort of thing. So,
and that's why it's going to be surprisingly great.
But that's also an uphill battle that they have to endure that might hinder it slightly, but we'll see.
But see,
the chances of us being wrong are like, you know,
This is the thing with Ricochet. Everyone knows he's super bland.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows he's super bland. He's super vanilla. But when he gets these opportunities, I think he definitely maximizes them. That's the only reason why they still give him them. I mean, they're very far and in between, but him on the pay-per-view is gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a really good match. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a good match. No one's denying that. I just have faith in Gunther and Drew to just pop us so much.
I always have faith in Gunther.
Yeah, I like that we're not calling him Walter anymore. I feel like I've really drilled that into you guys. But
I mean, I still prefer Walter, but I like saying Goon. Like it makes him sound tougher.
I think Gunther is 10 times better than Walter.
Yeah, Walter's just a guy, and like I understand the appeal to that and the delivery of it, and like, you know, but Gunther's just a fine name. And
this is when he was heavy, Walter was better. Because you're like, Walter, I'm not scared of a Walter. And then he's like this gigantic, monstrous thing. And now Gunther, like, it matches his look now.
Sure.
Yeah, he looks better.
Anyway, Ludwig Kaiser is like the actual best thing on Raw. I fucking love this dude. Everything he does, I love it. He talks, I love it. He stands there, I love it. He catches Walter's jacket. Fucking amazing.
Did you see the video? He doesn't actually catch it, and it was like having Christmas ruined for me as a kid.
Yeah, he grabs it and he whips it around.
I won't tell you then, but like
it's too late.
But you don't know the trick though, so it doesn't matter.
But we're gonna search for it. We're fucking Mark.
You still don't know. So in this moment, and for at least the next 20 minutes or so, we'll know, and James will have, sleep better tonight, knowing you didn't ruin it for anyone. So that's
still real to him, damn it.
Yeah, that's fine. And for the next 20 minutes, it'll be really.
Don't ruin it.
So we're on D-backs, Kurt Schilling over there. Do you have Gunther as well? Or no, what match are we on now? You have Logan Paul as well, I assume?
You had to give me Kurt Schilling. Yeah, I'll take
Bloody
Logan.
sock, man. I know that was Boston, but still.
Oh, it's a post-career Kurt Schilling.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I think my biggest hang-up with this match is the potential of it just being a little too overly choreographed, a la like the old Ricochet versus Will Ospreay match. I was gonna say Ricochet versus Will Ospreay, where it was just so blatantly choreographed, and like I hope it doesn't reach that level of ridiculousness in an attempt to try to recreate a viral moment. I understand there's gonna be some big spots, and those are gonna be very practiced and probably choreographed, but for the most part, I hope they just have a fucking match instead of go out there and put on I don't want to say a ballet performance, but something like that.
This ain't ballet.
I know, but when you do it like that, it's a little more akin to ballet. At least Cirque du Soleil.
Luis Gonzalez over there. What other matches am I missing besides the main event? Because I've been doing this on memory. I haven't pulled up any reference.
You need Cody versus Brock, Seth versus Finn, and then the main events with Roman and Jay.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to start with Seth versus Finn. That's why I forgot. But
yeah, we went on a half-an-hour rampage.
It's because I didn't review Raw, so sorry, you guys had to sit through this instead.
That's okay.
We didn't put on to Raw review. We're Raw fast forward.
That's what timestamps are
for. Seth versus Finn for the mid-card title. This could very well open the show.
Boo, you're better than that. You're better than that.
No, not me right now. No, I'm not. I'm a little more bitter about this. Literally, if we did these predictions before Raw for some odd reason, I'd be so hyped for the show. I've just sunk so much. But Finn versus Seth for the world title, 7 years, a rematch, 7 years in the making, a match that me and James were live for. We booed the shit out of that belt. We ruined the match. But it was still a pretty good match despite that. And Finn won, got injured, had to vacate the title the next day. and the rest is history, or not history, because it wasn't noteworthy because Finn has done nothing of note since then, like genuinely at all. And like I'm only being mildly hyperbolic.
He power bombed Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania that one year.
He went back to NXT. That was cool.
That was actually cool.
His NXT run was good. His NXT run was good.
But it was also NXT at a point where
Zigak.
yeah, it was not the best NXT. It wasn't a modern NXT, but it was where it was like this is where people who are just floundering on the main roster are flocking back to. But this feud has been good. My bitterness overall has not dampened my interest in this particular match because, again, I'm going to keep going first because I want to get out of the way and just then let you guys talk. I think Finn's going to win. I think Finn is going to win the title, and you could have two things that can happen. What I thought was going to happen a month ago, which was that Finn wins, Priest cashes in on him. So Finn once again has the fucking title. He wins it and he has it ripped away immediately.
Yep.
And I think that's really good. That's really good storytelling. The other thing you could do, which now the only reason I think they might do this is because there's reports recently of how over Judgment Day is and how in love with them the company is right now, that I think Finn could win and you don't cash in right away because you just want them all to be holding some sort of title or accolade and just have them run things for a little bit before you do that breakup. And I think you can also do that. But either way, I think Finn Balor wins. So, Mr. D-Max, fuck it, I'm going to want to get this name wrong. Tony Womack?
Tony Womack, yeah.
Yeah. Underrated hero of that last inning there in the World Series. But who do you have in this match?
Oh, he has a Diamondbacks hat on now.
Yeah, I went. It doesn't match my jersey, and it's a little big, but I went and found my old D-backs hat in the closet real quick there.
When did you do that? Never mind. Keep the match.
I'm enthralled.
You don't want another trick ruined for you in one show.
I don't.
Who do you have in this match?
Breaking all the kayfabe for Troy Gloss down there. Man, it's a tough call. The feud, the tension in the Judgment Day is making it really difficult to try to figure out what they're going to do here, which is actually kind of nice for once. I would like to see Finn win. I think the dude deserves a world title after, everything that's happened to him. And yeah, you can extend that out with the Judgment Day, let them just kind of settle into everything. Him and Damian make up for a little while, and then eventually, if Damian wants to turn on Finn, he can. Or shit, even if Finn wins and then Damian just immediately wins the title, that's pretty cool. Have them dominate a little while longer and then Finn gets resentful and turns. But like, whatever you want to do, I think that's a little more fun than having them ruin Judgment Day right now. Because Judgment Day's great, man. There's so much fun.
They are.
They're so much fun. They're doing everything down in NXT with Dom and Rhea. And when Finn and Damian get involved, it's even better. So, yeah, I like the idea of them just sticking together as, this unit almost as like a family. And I think Finn best serves that. So I'm going to pick him. I think this is more of an emotional pick than a logical pick, but because I genuinely do think there's a shot of them breaking up Judgment Day real soon, but I hope they don't. So I'm going to pick Finn.
I think Finn is the more logical pick. I feel like there's no real reason for Seth to retain. So I think Finn is not only the emotional pick, but the logical one. And I think
it depends on how you do your logic. I think if you logically think that it's best to break up Judgment Day now, then you pick Seth. I logically think
no, because Seth winning doesn't mean Judgment Day breaks up necessarily. I think Finn winning gives you the option either way. Because Finn wins, Damian cashes in, Judgment Day breaks up. Finn wins, Damian doesn't cash in, Judgment Day stays together. So that's how much you don't need Seth to win, that he's not even a factor in the equation there. Like Seth doesn't matter to this actually in the short and the long run. So that's how much you really don't need him.
You've made me feel a lot better about my pick then.
Yeah, no, I think you're making a good choice.
Appreciate
Anthony
that, Adam
Rendon
Page.
of the Anaheim Angels, currently sidelined with the probably long injury. Who do you have in this match?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. We're going Finn. I think Finn wins Saturday. We get a nice little evolution-esque montage on Monday. Everybody has a title except for Damian, but the Money in the Bank is an actual, like, it's like a title anyway.
Yeah,
Everybody
it's an
holds
accolade
it.
to hold.
Yeah, it's an accolade. Everybody has a title. They put it up, and then boom, Edge. I'm sorry, I just did that to fuck you guys. I do.
That was fucked up. I didn't like it.
I mean, he has unfinished business, and it would be full circle for Damian. But
No, he doesn't. He beat all of them. What unfinished business is that?
No, Rhea has to beat him. Rhea has to beat him.
you guys can't see Edge spearing Finn Balor on Monday and Damian cashing in on Finn.
I mean, it would be crazy because Edge is on SmackDown, but like,
So,
Yeah, because that
have you seen him?
matters. Like, I mean, no,
If you
it would
haven't
be
seen him, it doesn't matter.
it would be crazy because as we've learned from Judgment Day and from Christian, leaving Edge is just you instantly become better. Like once you get away from Edge, literally Finn was being ruined by Edge. And again, I was gonna save this Edge rant for another time, which is any time really. But if Finn was gonna enter, this is how short-sighted the New World title had to have been. Because if Finn was going to be in this feud with Seth, wouldn't it have made more sense for him to win at Mania? Right? Like, that seems like an easy,
Yeah.
simple thing to do. But no, Edge had to get that win for whatever fucking reason to then go away for a bit while Finn had to be there every week. Fucking dumb. Fuck you, Edge. But I'm glad you're back and you can wrestle again. It's a miracle and it's a good thing. But James has been chomping at the bit over there to fucking shit on our parade because we're all picking Finn and he's gonna go with Seth, aren't you?
I'm going Finn.
Hey,
Win Finn.
unanimous.
Win.
We
Finn,
are on
win.
the same page a lot for this.
The only thing I am going to say something different, and it's the wild card pick. Damian Priest is going to cash in on the winner of Roman J. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, he's not, but they should at least tease him to do it. But like,
I have Jey Uso beating Roman, and then I have Damian Priest cashing in on Jay because nobody wants a Jey Uso title reign.
Yeah, CJ
That
Wilson. CJ
that
Wilson
is
over there
actually
has been
worse.
saying this for a while. So
that is actually worse than Jay having the title. That is so like I'm not gonna get into. You give it to the guy who did the shittier Crossroads instead of fucking Cody. No,
Cody finishing the story has nothing to do with Roman. That's what he keeps saying. Man. No, it has to do with winning the goddamn title, and then he can defend it against Roman.
No,
So then
that's not the same.
Is it Crossroads versus Crossroads in a month? That's terrible.
It is
no. It's just the Judgment Day having everything because they deserve everything, and it separates them from the Bloodline.
But you could also just not cash in then and have the briefcase for now. Like, there's no rush to cash in.
I'd rather have the title than the briefcase. Well, all right. No, all right. From a storyline perspective, if I'm Damian Priest and Roman Reigns finally loses the title, I want to cash in as fast as possible because he's finally not champion, and I don't know when he's going to get another shot at it.
Okay, this is what I will say to that. I do think Damian needs to cash in on World Heavyweight. However, I will say that if he cashes in and wins, I don't think he looks bad regardless. So Damian wins, period. I just don't really see it going towards the WWE Championship.
You know how? Okay, if James's plan would work, if it was Dom holding the briefcase.
Oh, are you fucking nuts? Absolutely.
But not Damian. You know, not because on paper the idea works, but it's just somehow it's a downgrade from Jay. It's weird. This is why the other title is the mid-card title, but.
If I remember correctly, Adrian Beltre's point was always you get the title out of the Bloodline feud, and you put massive heat onto the person who cashes
Exactly.
in. But do you want that massive heat on Damian? I guess they are heels, but they're cool heels.
Well, yeah, because Rhea and Dom have enough, so to just overload it on Damian would be a good look. Because then everybody would hate the whole faction.
It's not ridiculous. I don't see that playing out.
It's not ridiculous. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I think if you had a more heel, if it was Logan Paul, I'm all on board. If it was Dom, I'm all on board.
You gotta let it go, dude.
No, I should have won. Look, I was right about Money in the Bank on both aspects, and all they've done is prove me right since then. But we're all on the same page that Finn's going to win, and I think that's nice. And I feel like we've set ourselves up for so much disappointment this show, because we're all
opposite each other the entire time.
Yeah, but who is going to pick opposite of us? Fucking WWE.
Yep,
sure. I will say WWE has been telling a story that it makes sense for Finn to win. Take away the Judgment Day aspect of it and Damian and all that. They are telling a story that it's Finn's redemption story.
Yep. And Seth doesn't need the title.
He's going to have the title for 2 days because Damian is cashing in on Monday.
That's a day longer than he had it last time.
Yeah, that's progress. And then next time he can have it for 3 days.
Literally doubles the time.
That's actually fantastic, and they should do that.
Yeah, then you could say I'm 2-time champion for 3 days. But fucking fantastic. What was the other match I was missing for the main event?
Bork versus Cody.
Okay, yeah. Cody, right? Anyone going for Brock? Any of you guys ballsy enough to go for Brock? Yeah, no.
I just want to know why this is happening.
I know why, because Cody needs to finish at least one story there.
Let me tell you why this is happening.
Why did Brock attack him in the first place? Is a story that I would still like to be told.
Okay, let me tell you why this is happening.
He wants to be the one to dethrone Roman.
But he can't. He lost that. He lost that right when he lost at SummerSlam because they said that was the last match that they have as long as they're champion. So it makes more sense for him to want to beat Cody, for him to want Cody to have beaten Roman.
Yep.
But he didn't beat Roman.
Yeah, why they feuded.
Yeah, maybe that's why he attacked.
Was it the night after Mania? Was it the night after Mania? If Cody beat Roman in that tag match, he would get a rematch against Roman. Wasn't that the stipulation?
Yeah.
No, it was just a tag match. I think it was just.
I could have swore.
Oh, I thought it was a stipulation as well, and I thought.
No.
I gotta look. I'm gonna look that up because I actually think it was, which makes it even dumber that he would cost him that.
Well, if it wasn't, then it makes sense that Brock was pissed because he was like, "This is my best shot of the title getting off of Roman, and you fucked it up, you bum. I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, sure. But anyway, let me tell you why this is happening. This is happening because Trish Stratus was jealous that Becky Lynch chose Lita as a partner and felt like she was being disrespected, even though she was a legend that paved the way. So her jealousy and her envy got the better of her, and she attacked Becky after costing them the tag titles, and that turned her basically to be an insecure heel that didn't feel like she was getting the validation she deserved because she realized that the women of the present have not only outshined them, but just had longer, more successful careers than them. And, they got to main event pay-per-views and WrestleManias and multiple shows, not just the one Raw that they never shut the fuck up about, and she felt like time had passed her by and she wanted to prove that she can still go with the young people, but she really couldn't. So she had to get back up in Zoe Stark. And I'm sorry, you wanted to know why the longest running feud, besides the Bloodline one going into the show was happening, right? Or were you?
That was a pretty solid recap there, Nick Markakis.
Yeah, no problem. Did you find anything, James? I gave you so much time.
I'm reading it right now.
He literally gave you like whole 90 seconds. I was watching the timer.
But yeah, why is the Cody Brock feud happening? No reason. Just because adversity. Because Cody couldn't walk in and win the Rumble and then beat Roman like he didn't fucking tear his pec off and compete in a Hell in a Cell match and miss 9 months. Like, shut the... Oh, God, I don't want to talk about the adversity shit. We're going on so many... Anyway, we all have Cody, right? We all said that?
Yeah. There's no point.
Okay. this is the only match where we might go in different directions, and we are because I already know who James is picking.
Right.
James thinks that Jey Uso is gonna beat Roman Reigns and win the titles at SummerSlam, not at Mania, not at Payback, the pay-per-view where Roman first won the titles, or not at the October pay-per-view where he first fought Jey or whatever. Nope, he's just gonna do it at SummerSlam. Nah. I say Roman. I'm gonna say Roman. I don't care, honestly. If I watch this match, it's because we're gonna review it. It's not because I care. I'm checked out. But I'm also checked out of SmackDown. It doesn't mean it's all bad. It just means I don't watch it. But D-backs, I'm gonna go to you first, but kind of third technically. Who do you have in this match, and why?
I've gone back and forth on this a lot because I've been very adamant over the last months, ever since WrestleMania where Roman beat Cody, that I think Jey Uso is the only choice to take the title off of Roman Reigns. And I do believe we are nearing the logical end to this story. So my initial thought was Jey, and I was going to say Jey. And then I was talking to my cousin the other day, and he brought up a really good point. And I'm going to steal this from you, Daniel. So thank you. Not you.
No problem.
Not you, my cousin Daniel.
I knew it was going to be.
Of course, you have another cousin. Of course, yeah. You probably have a cousin Chad and a cousin James.
Do you have a cousin's birthday James. This weekend?
I actually do not.
He does. That's a lie.
Dude, no joke. Daniel's cousin is named James. I swear to God.
And you have a cousin named Chad?
No, I unfortunately do not.
That's racist.
Yeah.
So his point was, I think this could have a lot of parallels, being this tribal combat match with no DQ or anything. This could have a lot of parallels back to Hell in a Cell when Jey was forced to give up because Roman attacked Jimmy. I think there's a decent chance that this time, however, Jey gives up because Roman attacks Solo. And I think because the only way to beat Jimmy, especially one of these situations, Roman knows, is to go after his family. Jey, yeah. The only way to beat Jey in these situations is to go after his family. And because Jey's not going to give up no matter what. So I think Roman, in like a very last resort type of deal, is going to have to go after Solo in order to get Jey to quit. And I think that's going to be hard for Jey because Solo clearly hasn't had his back recently. But I think if Roman goes after Solo, forces Jey to quit, and then Solo is going to turn on Roman as well, and then we're going to just have the complete dissolution of the bloodline. Roman's going to keep the titles, but he's going to have to ride Solo for a little while.
He said the thing.
Well, I didn't mean that.
I do think it's actually just title now. I think they finally dropped the other ones from the presentation.
True,
but I get your point.
Paul had them on fucking First Take the other day, so they had all three there. So I will say titles.
But cool. I actually think Jimmy turns on Jey. I'm gonna throw that out there.
I hate that idea so much. I've seen it thrown around. I hate the idea so much.
They've never turned on each other, have they?
They want to have a match at WrestleMania, which is fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with a fucking Uso versus Uso feud till WrestleMania.
I don't want to deal with it at all. Jey is the best.
Me neither.
You could also make that face versus face. I don't think anybody would trip over that.
I think they would.
If it was for the title, I don't think so.
I just think Jey is so much more over than Jimmy that there's no point in having Jimmy be a face for that feud regardless. They're going to cheer for Jey no matter what.
I guess.
But I just also don't... It doesn't make sense from a storyline sense.
Not at the moment, no.
Jey only officially turned on Roman because Jimmy turned in the first place. Why would Jimmy turn on Jey?
Because he's actually secretly always been jealous that Jey was handpicked to be the right-hand man and the next in line to be the tribal chief. and because like you said, he turned on Roman first. Like people care about Jimmy turning on him, and now Jimmy's the one getting the title match. Just like Jimmy got the title match in the first place when, or Jay got the title match in the first place when Jimmy was injured, and Jimmy's gotten nothing, whereas Jay has gotten everything. And I believe Byung-hun Kim is gonna come in here and fucking close this one out for me right here.
Well, I was waiting for you to use that name for a while. God, he was so bad in that World Series.
Oh my God, it was embarrassing.
But I think actually this kind of feeds into what I was saying about Roman perhaps attacking Solo, because both Jimmy and Jay said they did not want to be the tribal chief. They both picked Solo to be the next one. So if
Solo turns on Roman,
well,
That's not going to happen for a little bit.
That's not gonna happen,
I think that's a down the line thing.
unless Roman attacks him, and then eventually he will turn and join up with his brothers, and they'll back him as the tribal chief. I think I like my cousin's idea a lot more now as I add a little more to it.
Yeah, your cousin. Anyway.
So is Solo?
Chad, is Syndergaard still on the Angels?
No, he just got traded to Cleveland for fucking
Rosario. Okay,
for
so
Ahmed.
fucking Ahmed Rosario. Who do you have in this main event?
Well, Ahmed had a question. He was asking you a question.
Oh yeah, I was saying. So do we think Solo is the one who dethrones Roman if Jay doesn't?
No.
Is
No.
that what they're building?
No. Look, we cannot rule anyone related to Roman out because nepotism, but no, I don't think it's gonna be him.
Oh, okay.
But I think there's a chance. I'm not saying it's a zero. Like, if I'm ranking it, I say it's 57% Cody, 22% Jay, and then I'll give 18 of that remaining 21% to Solo, and then 3% to Braun Breaker, and that 3% to who doesn't watch these, he watches the lives, but if he's made it this far 2 hours in somehow, he'll get it. But yeah, sorry. Anyway, you were saying Ahmed?
No, fine. I really, 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 really want Jay to win, but I just kind of feel like I've learned my lesson in voting against Roman. I hated.
We've been broken down as people
for years now, literally years. Everybody who's fought him, I've said at one point in time, oh, they can do it. They might do it. They will do it. It's time. He's been champ for so long. And I'm tired of being wrong. So, yeah, I'm going to go Roman.
Yeah.
They Jey Uso Chad.
Yeah, they really did. But I do think it is. I still think it's Cody, because you're gonna do it till Mania. There's no records left to break, but you might as well just go to Mania with it. There's no reason to do it now. There's no reason to do it with Jay, because Jay. I just think there should be a difference between ending the bloodline or ending the tribal chief and ending the title reign. Like, I want to see Roman with no titles, but losing his mind and abusing his power and taking it out on Solo, or if they have any other relatives to add in that he could beat up, when he loses it, to go mad. I want to see that. So that's why I still think it's going to be Cody. But
did you say that he got the title at Payback?
Yeah, he got it like a week after SummerSlam. That 1 year in 2020 where they had SummerSlam and then had Payback the week after.
Is Payback after SummerSlam again? Is that the next live event?
Yeah, it's the next pay-per-view, yeah. Yeah, so I think there's a better chance of him losing it there than at SummerSlam, genuinely.
That's kind
Which
of
if you're not going to do it at Mania, you might as well go for some symmetry and just add a little more poetic justice to it if you're going to not do it at Mania.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it gets a lesser premium live event, more heat.
Yeah, well, no, it's going to have plenty of heat because you're going to have the Raquel Rhea match that got bumped from this card on there, You don't need it. That's right. I'm still bringing up the bump matches fucking 2 hours in. It's not cool. We're not happy with it. So we're almost all on the same page. 3 Romans, 1 lone Jay.
I think it's going to be Roman, but I want the scenario I said.
No, there's no back now. You confidently said, Jay. You were so confident. You said it in another match's
It wasn't
prediction.
confident. It was desire.
No, there was no hint of desire. That wasn't a. There was no emotion. You were actually like, well, I actually know that Jay is gonna win, and then Damian. Your desire was for Damian to cash in on them, but you knew Jay was gonna win.
Josh Hamilton pushed his glasses up and everything.
The only reason I do like James's idea, it's literally like 2%, is because you guys know I'm hung up on why Paul Heyman is so like obsessed with Damian Priest. I it's probably nothing. It might just be a hint, but I want them to do something with that sooner or later, regardless of what it is. Maybe he's just watching him because he has the briefcase or whatever, but I don't know, because he watched him before he had the briefcase. I just want them to explore that in some way later. I'll just say that.
No, that is something that, where there's smoke, there's fire, and especially when it's Paul Heyman or Matt Riddle, one literally, one metaphorically, you got to pay attention to details like that. So it's not out of the realms of possibilities. And I've given Triple H a lot of shit on this show, and I stand by all of it. And Triple H sucked in the years 2000 to 2019, I want to say.
No.
Damn.
Yeah, his Batista match was in 2019, so I stand by that.
I feel like he didn't start sucking until like 2004, at least.
No. He sucked in 2003 with the
Goldberg, the Elimination Chamber beating Goldberg.
But Evolution was great.
I disagree because I wasn't watching, actually.
I was watching, and it was fucking torture as a kid. Seeing him beat everybody but Shawn Michaels for a month. He beat Kane. He beat Van Dam. He beat Goldberg. He let racism be cool with Booker T. He was a monster for like 2 years.
He had blue tights on, James.
He had pink tights. At one
point, that as well. He reinvented himself. He was fine.
Sometimes
biased.
who we are is bad, and then sometimes we try to change ourselves, and it's worse. And that was Triple H. I remember he did the weird fucking handlebar mustache for a while.
That was cool.
That was cool.
That was cool in 2003.
Come on, Tim Sandy.
No, that was cool in like 93, and Triple H couldn't let go.
It was cool when Goose Gossage did it, and then nobody else ever again. Maybe what's his name? The actor who's a cowboy and everything. Sam something. Nick, you gotta know. Sam Elliott. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, Sam Elliott.
I love him.
Ed Hardy style shirts were cool in 2008, but Triple H still has them into like the modern day. So, the guy isn't completely up to date. He's not the coolest guy. Okay, my guy thinks biker is a personality. Okay, like let's not give him too much credit.
Let's not get it twisted. I hate Triple H as much as anybody else. I can't stand him. I just think, I just like Evolution. I'll say that.
I made a throwaway hyperbolic joke, and it's turned into this.
Yeah, no,
this is heat.
Because these two have wanted to have a huge episode discussion about Triple H, and we just haven't gotten around to it. And they've now hijacked this show to fucking have this debate.
Yeah, which we're not going to let happen because we're professionals here. But
and we're
Triple
also
H sucks, and we're going to move on.
Matches. We're out of matches. We're done.
Yeah, we're going to move on to the end.
Show me a code.
Thank you so much for watching. You said you want Coke, because I'll hit up Jeff Hardy. Maybe he'll answer my inbox message.
Oh, I was hoping you went with a baseball player there.
Nah, but I had to take at least. So people are catching strays this episode. But thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, what are you doing with your life? Come on, get it together.
This is a wild episode.
This was 2 parts. We should really break this into 2 parts. But thank you so much for watching. Please think about how right I am about my rant from earlier in the show. Think about how crazy it is that we're all on the same page except for one vote on one match. That's insane. But follow us on all the social medias. We got them all. Threads, you know we're on there. LinkedIn, you know we're linking up. Fucking Skonex, you know we're. I don't know. I never had Skonex. I don't know what they're doing there, but you know we're there.
What is a Skonex?
It was like the thing before MySpace. But
it sounds like an antelope.
It was very terrible.
It does. You sound like an antelope, but no problem. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. For the Anaheim Angels, the Texas Rangers, and the D-backs, and the Baltimore Orioles, Cal Ripken Jr. is a legend. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night. Don't drink and drive, and be nice to animals.